Welcome to the Informed Pregnancy and Parenting Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Elliot Berlin. Hey guys, if you like our show, do me a favor and take a moment to share us with your friends and leave a rating and some feedback in your podcast app. I'm super excited to be sitting in the studio with today's guest. She's an actor who broke out with her first starring role on the Australian fantasy drama Beastmaster, everyone's favorite. Soon after, she landed a role as the alien Tess in the hit series Roswell, and then went on to play Claire in ABC's Emmy Award-winning series Lost. She's appeared on the big screen in several films and recently wrapped up 7 years of portraying the warm and loving Belle on ABC's Once Upon a Time. She is a most adorable toddler and is currently very pregnant. Emilie de Ravin, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It's always funny listening to stuff about yourself.
Really? I mean, it's all big accomplishments. You know, I have to clear up something just right off the bat, just a random fact. You are of the Ravine. You have nothing to do with the large, hefty, black, crow-like bird.
No, it's, of the Ravine.
Of the Ravine.
Which I used to think was super romantic.
Why did that change?
Because then I looked up the meaning when I was about 9, and it's what a ravine is a ditch with a bit of water.
Oh, yeah, that's not as...
I was like, a ravine, that's so cool and French, just like my ancestors of the ditch.
Oh. Well, it's not the big, hefty crow.
Well, no, I guess, would that be better? Should we change
Raven?
it?
I don't know.
Raven. A lot of Americans say de Raven.
I would have said
as opposed
de Raven.
To, like, de Ravin is what I grew up with.
Ravin? So it's not Ravin either.
De Ravin.
I
mean, neither are right, because neither are with a French accent.
I'm glad that we...
De Ravin.
De Ravin. Yeah. That's what I would have said, but that makes me hungry for food. I don't know why. Anybody speaks French or Chinese, I get hungry.
I don't speak Chinese.
Well, French.
Sorry.
Do you speak French?
No, not really. A little bit. I learned and I was really good, and then if you don't use it, then it just kind of went out the window.
A little ditch with some water in it. That's great, because I've been looking for... It's our anniversary tomorrow, actually. And I've been looking
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, congrats. How many years?
22.
Wow.
I'm starting to get the hang of it.
Just now.
Yeah. It takes a minute. Oh my God, I don't want to waste any time. So much that I want to ask you about. I want to know where you came from and how you came to knock your career out of the park. Number 2, your first pregnancy, your birth and your motherhood experiences. And number 3, your current pregnancy and birth plans. Each one of those could easily be an hour podcast, so I'm going to jump right in. Where are you from?
I'm from Melbourne, Australia, and grew up in and around Melbourne, within like an hour from the city. With
caramel koalas?
Yes. And Freddo frogs.
Freddo frogs, both
Freddo
of those.
Frogs and
somebody brought me, and Vegemite, which does not sound...
Not together. That would be gross.
Vegemite sounds gross all by itself.
No, it's so good.
Is it? That's what everybody from Australia says.
I love it. Vera, my daughter, my toddler, loves it.
She does. I love it too. What's in it?
It's like fermented. It's like the yeasts that are fermented from making beer initially is how they found this sort of magical substance at the bottom of whatever they make beer in. Yeah, years and years and years ago. It's not how they make it now, but it's like this sludge, and people are like, that's good.
Delish.
And it's got lots of vitamin B in it, and they got a little fancy song they used to sing on the commercials in the 50s.
Really?
Look it up. It's got a whole history. It's really cool.
I mean, somebody
puts a rose in every cheek was their slogan.
A rose in every cheek?
Yeah, they're like, puts a rose in every cheek.
Maybe they could be a sponsor.
Yeah.
It's, somebody saw a chicken come out of an egg and thought to eat it. So I guess,
It's all got to start.
Pioneers.
Yes.
Food pioneers. So you grew up and then Freddo Frog and Caramel Koala, somebody brought some for me. And I don't travel much, but it made me sort of want to go to Australia. But then I realized the flight is like 500 hours.
They're the reasons you want to go? That's terrible.
Well, that's the way to my heart.
It's far. But you can go direct. If you can sleep on a plane, it's not bad.
I can't sleep on a plane.
Okay, we'll figure that out. And then
maybe once in a while, first class, I could sleep up there.
Yeah.
In a regular seat, I'm just lucky to squeeze in. Then I try not to get out the entire flight.
What about just in the galley? Just
land Maybe I should be a flight attendant.
Ah.
So you're from Australia.
Yes.
And then what was growing up there like?
It was awesome. I had a great upbringing. Lots of outside time. My parents, we never had a farm or anything, but we always had a ton of animals. And the 2 properties I was raised on predominantly until I was about 12, both were a couple of acres. We had a Shetland pony, we had a donkey who I called Eeyore when I was like 2. We had chickens and rabbits briefly, mainly chickens and the horses and cats, and dogs we only had for a little bit. Cats we always had.
Was it
Birds, like we had an aviary.
Was it like a working donkey or just like a
No,
hangout
he
and
was
play
just
with your donkey?
just
or
a hangout donkey.
like Shrek had a donkey?
Just like Shrek, yeah, just like Shrek. No, just to have, because we had the land and, you know.
Is that where your love
I guess
for
my
animals
mom's an
comes?
animal lover. She still wants an alpaca. I'm like,
Oh, an alpaca. I just went to an alpaca farm.
oh, did you? They're
It was
so
amazing.
sweet.
They're kind of sweet, but they slobber when they eat.
Yeah.
I found out
And
the
they
hard
cannot
way.
be. Maybe that's the wrong.
They're
That's the
sweet
wrong word.
looking.
They can be. Yeah, they're very.
They can
they're
be-
very pretty.
They can
but
be
a little
aggressive with
aggressive.
each other. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. But they're really cute to
Yeah.
look at, and they're so soft.
they're very soft. But no, I still love the outdoors, but I was always outside.
Did you grow up with TV?
Yeah, but not. I don't know, not much. Not at all. I have to be home from school to watch something. I was never that kid.
It was just there.
And it was just there. I mean, there was certain things I liked. We have a show called Play School, which is like kind of like a Mr. Rogers, I guess, that I watched when I was little. That show's really cool, actually. It's really educational, and they make things. It's a slow moving, singing songs kind of show for little kids. But then as I grew up, I was never really into kids stuff when I was watching it anyway. I really liked, what did I like? I liked I Dream of Jeannie.
Oh, yeah.
And Bewitched and I Love Lucy.
Oh, yeah.
They were my shows that I liked to watch sort of between, 7 and 10. When everyone else was like, oh my God, we've got to watch Melrose Place. And then I got into Hitchcock films too, quite early on.
Like as an early teenager?
Yeah, I guess early teenager, but right before. Just like murder mysteries were always. I still love murder mysteries.
You went to high school in Australia as well?
I went to my grade school in Melbourne, and I completed high school, but I did it through doing full-time ballet.
You were a dancer.
Did
you dance as a little kid?
No, my mum took me when I was about Vera's age, around two or something.
That's pretty little.
I hated it. I went one time and never went back. And then I was a really super active kid. So I started doing really well with gymnastics at school. And when I was about 8, they scouted and for this Olympic training group for gymnastics. And they took me. I mean, not like took me.
They took me.
They took me.
We'll have to take the child.
They asked if I wanted to go train at this Olympic training place for where you go, I guess.
For gymnastics.
Yeah, when I was 8. So I did that for about 6 months, and the joy just left it because it just became such a, okay, you're going for an hour before school and the place is an hour away from where you live, and then an hour after school. It was just, and it was just the joy of movement, and I liked bar routines. I liked the floor routine stuff. So I was always more drawn to the dancier aspect of it as opposed to like a vault or something. And I don't know, kind of just fell out of like with it. And as much as my mum's always encouraged me to do well at what I do, she's never pushed me if I don't like something. So we just stopped doing it. And then I thought, well, I'll try ballet again, and then just fell completely in love with that at 9. And so once I hit high school age, I was doing just full-time. And my dad, who was a doctor, a GP, he sort of stayed down. We were like an hour and a half outside the city where we were living. And to go to like the good ballet schools, they were all much closer to the city. Or
you
the city.
studied ballet,
So
like, for real?
Yeah, so my mum and I sort of traveled around to these different ballet schools for the next like 5-6 years until I was like 16. And we'd sort of, I'd do like, what do you call it, home education, distance education it's called there, where you have time, if you're at like a full-time ballet school, they give you some time during the day.
For studies?
For studies, and then the rest you do at home. Ends up being most of it you have to do at home. And then we have the Australian Ballet School, which is, I suppose New York City Ballet School is the biggest in the States, though you guys have such awesome companies out here, and there's quite a lot of them. For us, like the big Australian company is the Australian Ballet Company, and that's in Melbourne, in the city, and they start doing, probably around 10 years old, like an associate program. where you can do like a class with the ballet school teachers, like the official ballet school teachers once a week, because they have a 3-year course before you cross your fingers and hopefully get into the company, right? So I got into that and did that, and then I got into the school, which was a 3-year course when I was 15, I guess, just shy of 16. And I completed a year and then decided I don't know, I didn't really fall out of love with it. I fell in love, I think, a little bit with being a teenager.
Oh, yeah.
And the ideal...
They seem not that compatible.
The idea of wanting... I don't know, I was like, I'm going to be an actor. So I decided I'd buy these acting books and do a week workshop with NIDA, which is this, like, friggin' fantastic acting school. Another whole thing, like you'd go there for years and study if you were going to study
a serious
acting.
actor.
Yeah, I guess I'm not a serious actor.
I don't know, but I'm saying at the time you just did a
they travel around Australia
workshop.
and do little workshops for younger people. So I did that to see if I liked it and to see if they thought I was any good. Got my VHS tape of my monologues of what did I do? I did something from Clueless, and then I did a scene with other people from Breakfast Club.
Gee, do you still have them?
I do somewhere. I
want to see them.
I need to pull them out. I need to convert
I so
it
want
from
to see
VHS.
that. I can convert it for you.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
You're like, okay.
I'm very talented.
You are very talented.
With old stuff.
With old stuff. Don't give me that newfangled stuff.
Yeah. What's that phone that has no buttons?
Yeah. Anyway, and then I don't know what happened from there. Oh, okay. I had a cousin. I still have a cousin. She lives in LA. She's a lot older. She's my mother's sister's daughter.
Okay.
And my parents were a lot older, so basically everyone except me is a lot older. Or my family, or deceased.
Yeah, because your siblings are much older than you.
Yeah. I have 2 older sisters from a separate marriage who are one's 16 years older, one's 17 years older.
Right.
So I'm actually closer in age to my eldest nephew.
Wow.
It's kind of funny. But so I came out to LA just to be like, I'm going to check it out here.
And what age was that?
I think I was just shy of 17.
Oh, wow.
Just shy of 17. And I came out and stayed with my cousin and just kind of, I don't know, I had all these places that I had written down. Yeah, I was basically 17. I'd written down all these places that I was going to check out and all these things I was going to do. Like, okay, have all these things written from this magazine. This is where you should eat. This is where you should go hang out. And this is this casting director and this, and started to kind of familiarize myself a little bit.
Were people with you? Did your family come with you?
My mom came out,
and
then I was with my cousin.
Your cousin.
And her husband, staying with them. Then I went back home, and then I went on some auditions and got that Beastmaster job where I got to wear green body paint and wear backwards feet.
My favorite. Oh, my God. I need a picture of that, too.
You obviously don't follow me on Instagram.
Is it on there?
It's very depressing. I'm kidding. I don't know, probably. I think I probably posted like a flashback. You jotting that down in your notes?
Yes, I want pictures and video. And wait, what is this Instagram thing you speak of?
Don't worry, it's newfangled.
Okay, forget it.
So I got that job, which was sort of, I don't know, working on that show. I think I auditioned for maybe like 3 or 4 jobs, and that was one of them. And it just kind of happened, and I got it. I was going to do that, or I was going to do Neighbours. But Neighbours, who wanted me to test for Neighbours, which is a huge show over in Australia. It's like a huge evening soap opera. It's been on for like years and years, decades and decades. Neighbours and Home and Away.
Okay.
But then they told me, yeah, so it's a 10-year contract. I'm like, what?
Whoa.
I'm like, I'll be like 27.
Yeah, well, when you're 17, 10 years is like...
even now, but
then,
yeah. So I was like, yeah, no. So I did the one, the other one, did Beastmaster. And that was such a fun gig. And it wasn't every episode, but it was, it was quite a few of them, and for about a year and a half. Then I got a call from the States because I was playing an American demon. Mm-hmm. She was an American demon. Probably like the worst accent I've ever done, because everyone on that set was Australian, including the dialogue coach. So that didn't really help. and I got a call to audition for Roswell, which was an American show, because they're like, oh, hey, can you come in, thinking that I lived here.
Oh, they didn't realize you were there.
Yeah, they thought I was American, and then I was like, oh, cool, I'll come back out. And it was pilot season as well, just when everything new cast. So came out and got that job, which was like 7 episodes, and then thought, oh, well, I'll be going home after that. But they extended the contract to be a series regular, so I stayed on that job.
That's really cool that they called you.
Yeah, kidding. It was awesome. Everything just kind of fell into place. This whole thing that I had this whole planned journal though of, all right, I'm going to get this agent, I'm going to bring this tape and give it here. And I think at some point I made up a fake resume with like fake Australian commercials that I had never done and given to casting directors.
Welcome to America. That's what we do.
Yeah,
like
we can't get away with that now.
Standard.
People would just Google it. Back then, they'd be like, oh, of course she must have done that.
People still try. And then you just grew and grew. I mean, you've had some pretty phenomenal roles.
Yeah, I've been very lucky. I mean, it's a lot of hard work.
ABC's going to be strange without you.
What is?
ABC.
ABC.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what they're doing.
I don't know.
What are they doing?
You're one of the weird people. I mean, you're not weird. It's one of the people who I met on TV before I met in real life, and then didn't realize that you were the same person because my face blindness.
Right, which I find fascinating.
Oh, it's a weird thing.
It is a very weird thing. It's kind of cool.
And then also one of your Once Upon a Time friends who my wife watched. I also have a very hard time watching TV because I can't tell the characters apart either. So I don't really watch that much TV. But my wife was watching Once Upon a Time religiously, and I had no idea, first of all, that you were on it or that...
Ginny.
Yeah,
right?
Ginny was on it.
That's funny.
I also got to meet in person. You were telling me, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm doing this show Once Upon a Time. And then you mentioned that she's on. I'm like, oh, my goodness. It just like blew me over
That's
that
so
I've been
funny.
watching you guys for so long. Anyway, that's just weirdness about me. And then movies. How do you like movies versus TV?
I like both for different reasons. I guess it's more about what the character is and who the people are you're working with,
rather than the process of the format.
I mean what I like about a film, or what kind of film too, because like an independent film, you've got even less time to shoot. You're even more rushed than episodic TV. If you're on like a decent length feature film with a good big budget and you've got more time, that's nice because you got more time to spend and you don't feel rushed. And
but on the flip side, doesn't it ever feel like you do it and it takes so long before it shows up anywhere? Does that gap ever bother you?
Yeah, I guess you feel
versus
that.
TV, which is like you just do it and it's
well,
out.
No, but there's a gap with TV too. I mean, it's a less of a gap, but it's still like a month or a couple of months sometimes. And then now, like,
but it looks like the films could be a year or more.
Yeah,
from the time you shoot
or
it.
never too. Like if
never.
you're making something, you don't know if it's ever going to get seen. I mean, most stuff now you can find, I guess, but if you're doing something independent, it's got to then be picked up by a distributor, and then then they're responsible for releasing it however they want to. But I like both. Yeah.
Where were you in your career when you got pregnant the first time?
I was doing Once Upon a Time. I think I was probably on season. No, I was doing season. We just started season 5. Yeah, we just started season 5 of Once Upon a Time.
And then your character wasn't pregnant?
No. I literally found out on the drive up. My fiancé and I drove up to Vancouver that time because, it's nice to have a car up there, so we'd leave one of the cars up there. And that's when I found out, but I didn't tell them until I was 12 weeks. So I was shooting for whatever, 3 months.
So on Lost, you were not pregnant, but your character was?
Yes.
On Once Upon a Time, you were pregnant, but your character wasn't?
But they made her pregnant.
Later.
The timing didn't quite work. They wrote it, so I'm like, oh, hey, okay, 12 weeks, right? Rolls around. It was perfect timing because I was just about to start filming this totally Belle-centric, my character Belle episode, all me, lots of stuff. They had me doing all these things. I'm like, oh, God. And then the dates came up, and I'm like, oh, perfect. I can tell them literally the day before. FYI, don't put me in that boat. So they're like, oh, that's awesome. You know, super supportive. Adam and Eddie, who created it, they're great friends, awesome guys, whatever. They're like, well, we'll let you know if we're going to, hide it or write it in. I'm like, oh, cool, great. Thinking it'd be so fun to actually play your pregnancy.
Yeah.
Having, like you said, done it so much on Lost and like really played the physicality of it on Lost too. Birthing twice.
Right, so let's hold on for 1 second. Just go to Lost first. Birthing twice.
Well, because there was all these sideways flashes and back flashbacks and stuff.
Once on the island and once
on a rock, a very large rock, the birthing rock, the black rock.
The birthing rock.
And then once, like, backstage at a concert.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but then you had never been pregnant. You didn't...
Right, so it was all just research and kind of honestly just going with what I thought my body would do, which apparently worked out pretty well.
Well, how do you research
just watching
that?
Watching births.
Actual birth videos?
Yeah.
And seeing how people...
Yeah. Well, there's no point watching like a, rom-com birth. You're like,
Yeah.
It's here. And it's got like a little bit of jam on its head. You're like, That's what we use though, actually. We rub the babies with jam and cream cheese.
Oh, there's real babies.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
they pop out from under your skirt.
I wonder how you audition for that role.
I don't think they have to do too much.
No?
I don't think so. They just have to like lick the cream cheese.
Not be too sensitive to dairy.
Yeah, right.
Do you also work with like professionals when you're getting ready to just make sure
I don't know.
there's
I don't know.
accuracy
I mean,
there?
I didn't, and it wasn't offered to me. Not that I'm upset about it, but I'm sure if you were doing a big budget studio film and it was revolving around a woman's pregnancy and birth, they would probably hire someone to maybe, I don't know.
But you didn't know. You just watched some videos. You're like, yeah,
I
can do it on the rock. I can
this.
do it at a concert. I can do it. It's like sort of I will not eat green eggs and ham.
Yeah, exactly.
Claire loved, I read this random fact, Claire loved peanut butter, but you're allergic to peanut butter.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, they had to. I think they had peanut butter on set, and then they had to switch it out for whatever cashew.
Are you not
butter.
allergic to other nut butters?
No, I'm not.
Really,
because peanuts are not a nut. They're a
legume.
A legume. Legume.
I don't know because you said
Do you
French.
say legume?
De Ravin. Do you say de Ravin?
I say legume.
Legume. I don't know. I don't really say it ever.
They're not a nut though. So yeah,
I say donut.
Donut.
That's my favorite kind of nut.
Oh, I should get donuts. Sounds good right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, but once upon a time was a whole other thing. They decided to write, in a nutshell, they decided to write it in, told me that, kind of actually not long after I told them I was pregnant. And I'm like, oh, this is so exciting. And then I keep getting scripts and it's not in there.
It's not there.
Keep getting bigger. I'm like, oh, okay. I think I was about 7 months pregnant, 6.5 months, 7 months pregnant, like super. You could obviously tell I was pregnant. And it was written in, and I had to do this scene with Robert Carlyle, who was like Rumpelstiltskin / the Beast, my lover, Mr. Gold, many people, but the baby daddy, being like, and he told me because I don't know, he saw it in a magic ball or something. He's like, you're pregnant. I'm like, what? As my stomach's literally, like my belly is touching him. I think we got one take out with not cracking up. And I'm holding another character's infant over my belly.
Oh, that's funny.
That was funny. So that, yeah. And then I had to pad myself a little bit after.
Because you had the baby.
To then come back the next season and give birth to the baby.
That's crazy. So you first played a pregnant woman without having been pregnant. You gave birth twice without ever having given birth. Then you are pregnant but not playing a pregnant woman until they write in your pregnancy and you're almost done being pregnant, and then you come back.
Yeah, what's next?
Play the pregnant one while you're postpartum.
Yeah. Yeah. At least they didn't have me doing it too long. That was my biggest fear. I'm like, oh no, I'm going to come back with a 3-month-old and have to, that would be, can you imagine? Just like feeling like you're getting your body back again. You're not pregnant. And you're like, here's your pregnancy belly. They didn't really do that. It was only very brief. So.
You're not going to believe it. It's time for our first break.
Oh my God.
Our only break. We're going to come right back with Emilie de Ravin. How would you say it?
You can pick one if you like. De Ravin is how I say it.
Okay, we're going to be right back with Emilie de Ravin on the Informed Pregnancy Podcast.
This podcast is a proud member of Parents on Demand, a network of high-quality shows for families just like yours. Download our free network app on Apple and Android and listen to your favorite episodes on the go.
Welcome back to the Informed Pregnancy Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Elliot Berlin, and we're continuing our chat with the lovely and talented Aussie, Emilie de Ravin. Talk to me about pregnancy. So we talked a little bit how you were just acting while you were pregnant, but how was pregnancy, first of all, how did you find out?
With my first pregnancy, how did I find out? Just took a test. Were you
actively trying?
Yeah, we were actively trying. Not crazy making trying, but yeah, trying. And I just felt, it stems from, so we drove up, it was on the drive up from LA to Vancouver for filming, the season 5 of Once Upon a Time. And Eric, my fiance, we stopped and we stayed overnight somewhere, and he's like, I think you might be pregnant. Your boobs look bigger. And I'm like, no, they don't. They don't look any different, which they didn't to me at all. And you know your own body pretty well. I was like, whatever. And then, the next couple of days, I think we stopped. Oh, we stopped at that cool place that they shot The Shining at.
Oh.
That lodge. Can't think what it's called, but that place is awesome. And we ate something really yummy, but I just felt so sick and went threw up in the toilet. I'm like, okay, that looks like it was a bad throw up. It was not and that's not me. I don't throw up at all. I just don't. I'm not. I've got a good non-gag reflex. So.
Does that make you think maybe?
Yeah, so then I was like, okay, we should keep feeling so we can drive. Let's stop and get a test. So I went into whatever Walgreens pharmacy and did it in the bathroom.
Oh, wow. So and it was positive.
And yeah.
Huh.
So
I'm trying to picture that moment when you came out to tell me.
I'm running out, oh no, I think I tried to hide it for a minute, which is so hard. I'm horrible at that. I think I was probably
You're an actor.
Oh, get in the car. Yeah, so... And then I just started smiling. Yeah. So that was that.
Well, he knows your body.
Yeah.
Better than you.
Yeah. No. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe my boobs.
Parts, yeah. Some parts. Well, so that's, I guess you were excited. Did you immediately wonder how that would affect work? Greeting.
Totally not my first thought.
You're planning anyway.
I can't speak because I'm pregnant now.
I know.
I've lost all ability.
I'm sorry.
A little bit, but I also, Ginny Goodwin, who you just mentioned in our earlier section, who was on the show with me, had just, not just, but she had her first pregnancy and her son during filming too, and I'd seen it, and I knew that it was also optimal time to be able to be pregnant while you're working.
Oh yeah.
It's very rare to be able to, especially now, things have changed. It used to be different. They used to kind of hire people when they were pregnant. Now it's very hard to actually acquire a new job.
Is that because of liability or something?
It's a full-on liability thing, which I understand.
Yeah, because I would think from discrimination it would go the other way. People are a little more touchy about it.
Yeah, but think about, if you were to go into really early labor or something goes wrong, then your entire production
comes to a screeching halt.
Yeah. So, to be able to work through it was amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah, and just was excited. And it's just that time, which I'm sure is for everyone, of wanting to tell everyone right away, but obviously not. So waiting until, the sort of quote-unquote safe time of 12 weeks comes up.
How did it feel compared to what you thought it would be like, pregnancy?
I don't know. I never really thought how I would physically feel. I wanted to have a child since I was 6 years old. Earliest memories. I used to write a journal every day, and I have it written down in super early journals.
You have no younger siblings. Do you think, did it come from there?
I don't know.
Or no?
I never really felt like I missed out, though, I don't know.
Did you like the changes of pregnancy on your body?
I did, yeah. And because, though, also just because I've always wanted to be a mom. I love what I do for a job. I love a lot of things about my life, but I knew I'd always wanted to be a mom from the get-go. So whatever came with it kind of thing was fine and wonderful. And I had a pretty good pregnancy. I was a little nauseous for, I don't know, a few weeks, a month
Well, there was
maybe.
that moment at the lodge.
There was the moment at the lodge, the shining lodge. But I probably only threw up. I don't even think I threw up another time, maybe one other time. But I felt pretty nauseous for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Like because I wasn't throwing up didn't mean I didn't feel like it. So that was, and it was working. So I'd be in the bathroom in my trailer and I'd be like, it's time to go. No one's knowing. They're probably thinking, I don't know, whatever, just being
Give you a little
lame.
space.
Yeah, I don't know. But that was a big relief to be able to tell people. They're like, oh, that's why you've been really slow getting out of your trailer.
Yeah.
You're not being like a diva suddenly. You're feeling like throwing up. But I really didn't have any major aches and pains or anything to complain about too much the first time at all, really. I mean, a little bit of like restless leg syndrome.
That's uncomfortable.
That kind of sucks, especially when you're trying to sleep. But magnesium helped that, so I
Oh,
started
good.
taking that a lot. And I mean, like a little bit of back pain, but nothing too crazy. And just I'm not a weight gainer when I'm pregnant. Like it's all just the baby.
Belly. Yeah, it looks fake.
So,
it looks like the lost
It's a little hard little lump.
It looks actually a little less real than the one from Lost.
That one I used to think was a little too big. We
You
used to always
thought?
joke
Really?
about how many are really in there. Luckily, they had the baby come out and it was quite big. So
Yeah.
it was like,
It's all like cream cheese
she
and
makes
jelly.
big babies. But yeah, so I physically was great, and luckily for them, it worked too. So you could put like a little coat on me, and you shoot me from behind, or belly up. You can't really tell.
You can't tell that you're pregnant. Just a
Yeah.
lot of upper body shots.
Exactly.
When did you start thinking about birth?
Like active. I mean, from the get go, and I've always just sort of thought not too intensely about it, but just I'll be going to the hospital. I kind of figured that hospitals would have been like they are in Australia.
How was that?
Honestly, which is a lot of them have a birth center in the hospital.
Oh, so like
birthing.
more of a natural birthing center.
Yeah, but it's in the hospital. So you're going to the
building.
hospital, but it's you would only transfer into a different kind of room with all the doctor stuff, and it's so eloquent.
It's medical
If
terminology.
there was something that needed addressing, or afterwards if the baby needed help or something. So I don't think it's every hospital there, but a lot of them. Like my mom had me in one of the anyway. So I kind of thought that, and then the closer I got, I guess I thought about it a little more. I was going to birth at Cedars here, and went there, and I don't have like a fear of hospitals, but they're also not my happy place.
I think
Like,
for most
there's
people-
infections everywhere. That would be my thing. If I have to walk the baby through.
I think people
What?
sometimes feel safe giving birth. They're medically safe, but
Well, there's-
very few people, it's their happy place.
I know, that's the thing. And that was the struggle I had. So I'm like, okay, you've obviously got every medical intervention at your fingertips, right? Fantastic. But I also don't want to be pushed into something that I don't need.
Pushed is a funny way to put it.
Yes, I know. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, because I didn't know how I was going to feel. I wanted to have a natural birth. I wanted to have a natural vaginal birth. I didn't plan on having a C-section or an epidural or anything.
Oh, but for you, because natural means different things for different people. You just mean unmedicated,
Yeah.
vaginal.
Yeah.
Just I'll go into labor and push my kid out.
Yes. So that was what I wanted to do. And I don't know, when I finished working up in Vancouver when I was about 33 weeks, 34 weeks.
Oh, like
33?
close to the end.
33, I think, something like that. Yeah, and was done working, right? So I came back down to LA and just kind of thought about it more and thought about, well, hang on, why, if everything's good at this point, there's nothing wrong, my baby's head down, and everything seems, on track.
Yeah.
Why am I going to a hospital? And what led me to start thinking about that was watching The Business of Being Born.
Oh, of course. She gets everybody
Of
that
course.
Ricky Lake.
She gets 31. Damn you,
maybe
Ricky.
I could just give birth in my bathtub.
I'm not moving.
Yeah.
So I flipped.
I watched it and thought I could give birth in a bathtub. That's
Yeah.
how convincing
It
it
has
is.
not happened yet, but you know.
Yeah, I don't
We're
really
waiting.
fit
We're
in my
waiting.
bathtub. Yeah, it's fine.
So that kind of, no, it really just got me questioning why not do this, you know, at a birth center or at home. And so I started looking into all of my options. I had a few, I don't know, nothing major against birthing at home, but I felt more comfortable. I had a really great, where we were living at the time, a really great birth center very close by. So I'm like, oh, this is kind of the best of both worlds. I feel a little bit safer than being at home. Right by the hospital, like right by a hospital there as well as a backup.
Yeah.
And just felt, I don't know, also just like silly things of like, oh, I don't want to have to clean up afterwards.
A lot of people say that.
You know,
it's just
even
super-
though, you know, now I know the midwives
They do clean
that
everything
for
for you,
you and
yeah.
everything. But, you know, like not knowing though and just thinking maybe it would be nice because it's so close to just go in and just come a quick trip home.
Yeah.
And, you know, not around the animals and stuff and blah, blah.
At your house.
Yeah,
No
maybe a
donkey.
better bathtub. I don't know.
They do have an amazing bathtub.
They do. So that became the plan. I flipped everything really late on.
Yeah,
Like
34
34,
weeks.
yeah.
It's like the latest that they'll even take
Yeah,
you.
they were like, well, literally, yeah, they're like, well, we can just take you. So kind of crammed in, you know, acquainting myself with all the midwives and got myself a doula and just, yeah,
How'd your labor start?
on her due date.
Wow, that's pretty...
Yeah,
Rare.
and it started pretty abruptly, I guess, kind of early morning, like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And it was, I thought, oh, this is what they're going to be like. This is what the contractions are going to be like. I have this. This feels, this is great. Like, it, you know, it's painful, but I got it.
So
wow,
doable.
this is so cool.
Yeah.
This is happening. This is great. Everything's good. Calling the doula. She's like, well, you know, I'm not coming right yet, but, you know, come in a little bit. And so just kind of kept in touch with her. And then it just switched to the most agonizing pain I've ever had in my life.
How
which
far
I
into
found
it?
Probably about not too long, probably like a couple of hours into it.
And still no
Maybe like
doula
3
there
hours.
with you.
No, that was when I'm like, you need to come. Because
No.
it was,
Okay.
I didn't know then, but long story short, was in back labor for probably about 8 hours after
Wow.
that.
So you were feeling that intensity more in your back than in the front?
Oh, nothing in the front
It was
at
all
all.
in
It
your
was
back.
just 100% felt like my
Did it feel
back
like it
was
going
going
to
to
break?
snap in half.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what people say with back
It's
labor.
just never, and never, I don't know if it would be any different if I had, but never have ever had any kind of back issues or like there's nothing I could relate it to. Just like, and I didn't really know, and neither did my doula really either. You can't, I mean, to be for sure that that's what is happening, I guess, right away. I thought, oh my God, this is just, you know, I thought it kind of, I don't know, it made me feel a little upset with myself for a minute before I realized that it was back labor. Of like, I thought it was so much stronger and that I could do this. But then, so obviously
But that's not the typical labor
Right.
sensation or
Right.
pattern.
So, and I was still, anyway, whatever, 8-9 hours later, I was still just 1 centimeter.
Oh, wow.
Because
You went
she was just not-
You
she was
went to
just
the
not-
birth center?
I finally was able to go and get checked. Well, that was the other thing. I had my midwife who was on call with someone else.
Oh.
And so I was trying to figure out, where do we meet? What do we do? And anyway, I finally got to see her, and she's like, "You're still 1 centimeter."
No.
And she suggested that she's like, "Your body's going to give up at this point. You know, it's
You were still having back labor.
Yeah, it was
then.
still full on. That was the worst car ride of my life. Even though it was close, that was just, I thought I was going to jump out of the car every traffic light and just labor on the side of the road. But no, she suggested going to the hospital and going with my backup doctor and getting an epidural because there was nothing she could do.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And my backup doctor was the most wonderful man in the world who I want him to adopt me, Dr. Wu.
You were just retired.
I know, I'm very upset at him for just retiring.
You're not the only one. He has a
Oh,
fan
no,
club of...
he was literally the first person I thought of when I got pregnant this time. I'm like, Dr. Wu, I've got to make sure he's still delivering.
Oh, you didn't know he had retired?
No, because
Oh.
Vera was, my daughter was I guess, in his last year of delivery.
Yeah, he just stopped a year ago.
Yeah. So,
I mean, he's in his 80s.
I know, but he's so good and he cares so much. And
yeah, he's all heart.
Love Letters to Dr. Wu. That'll be my new book. My first book. My only book.
How did the birth finish off?
He's just amazing, and he was able to let me have a full-on vaginal birth. He just had to turn her a little bit and open me, and he did everything he could.
When you say that, you mean with his hands?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he did everything manually and just let me have the birth that I wanted. I mean, minus the epidural and minus the hospital. But at the same time, you can plan, and this was always kind of my feeling, even though I do want to be in control of especially something like your birth. You can't, and that's just life, and you've got to go with whatever makes the most sense and the healthiest and the safest for your baby and for you, and
Couldn't agree more. So, after supporting so many people through pregnancy and birth, it just became abundantly clear to me that if you have a birth plan, it has to be comprehensive. This page 1 is like, this is my ideal. This is what I'd like it to be like if I can pick any kind of birth I want. And that's like the most natural birth you could want for yourself. Maybe it's out in the strawberry field with nobody around you. Maybe it's at home with a midwife or at home with an obstetrician, which happens to be a choice here in LA, or at a hospital with a midwife. Maybe it's medicated or unmedicated or vaginal or cesarean. It doesn't matter. It's not our birth plan. It's your birth plan. Yeah. But that's page 1. There always has to be a flow chart of like, but if this happens or that happens.
Exactly. And I think the danger, which I didn't get into, and I'm glad I didn't, maybe if I'd had longer and I'd been planning like a birth plan that was not just going to the hospital earlier on, I think I could have been in danger of that, of falling in love with a specific situation and then freaking out if it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I've seen that a lot.
Yeah, because as much as you can have an idea, I think that's beautiful and wonderful, but I also, knowing myself, I kind of don't want to do that, and I haven't actively done that this time for that reason, because I don't want to be upset if it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I want to just let things happen. Like pick your location, that kind of helps, but, and the people you want around you. But even that, like your doctor or your midwife, something could happen, then there might have to be someone else on call. Or
Absolutely.
So I think it's just been open to looking for alts if you need them, like looking for backup. Making sure you have a backup plan is probably the most important thing that you're happy with.
It's the flow chart. You have to think through all the steps, ideally, and have a plan that you're comfortable with each step of the way.
Yeah.
So now you're getting close to giving birth again.
I am. I don't have
Flash
too
forward.
long.
Dr. Wu has retired. What's your
not
plan?
okay.
It's not okay. What's your plan this time around?
My plan this time, well, we just moved. My plan initially was to try and do the same birth center that I was initially planning to have Vera at, and so I started my appointments with them, and then we moved, like physically moved house to a totally different part of town, and that just didn't make sense, in my opinion. So I spoke with this guy, Elliot Berlin.
Oh,
wait!
Don't believe anything he says.
No, we had a really good chat about home birth, and because I was so set on a birth center because it was like my plan. That was my sort of plan 1, and then a hospital backup, right? With unfortunately not Dr. Wu, but with someone who's I'm sure just as awesome. But I then really opened my mind to that because the pros just seem to really outweigh other options, and I'm really excited about, planning to do it at home, but again, being open to the odds, open to having, a great backup doctor that in case, which God, knock on wood, and I am going to knock on the table even though you told me not to, knock on wood that I'm not in back labor again, that I, therefore not needing or desiring at all have any kind of epidural.
Did you find out last time if the baby was sitting on your spine? Like, was the baby's skull against your spine and sacrum? Because, oftentimes it's what causes back labor.
Yeah, she was, because he had to turn her a little bit. But no, it wasn't that much. It wasn't a full turn.
But by that time, because how long had you had the epidural for before she came?
Probably not that long. Maybe No, probably was like 3 hours.
Yeah, so it could be she
Yeah.
already started to
Yeah.
rotate.
Because I had to go from 1 centimeter. I was just not dilating because
Oh, when you got to-
she was not pressing on my cervix at all.
Yeah. How quick did the epidural kick in for you?
Pretty fast. That's a weird thing. It was wonderful, and I mean, I see why they are such a wonderful, thing for people. I probably would not have been able to. Let's just say if I had a different doctor and a different hospital and a different situation, I probably would have been a very easy candidate to be swayed to have a C-section, which was my unless the baby was unless something was horrible, there was no way I wanted to have a C-section. No desire. I mean, of course, if it's what you have to do, you have to do it.
Sure.
So I think they're great for that. I mean, I feel like I missed out a little bit because as much as, not that I enjoyed the back labor, but, you go from feeling, even though it's a different feeling to what, actual delivery would be, it's just gone, and I mean, I did everything I could to try and be as present, I was holding her head and I had a mirror. I'm like, make sure, kept yelling at people, make sure the mirror's right there.
Oh, to watch her come out?
To watch her, yeah. And
were you able to reach down and help guide her out?
yeah, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Are you, for home birth, are you thinking water or land?
I'm hoping land or water is the only options, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
Air. I was thinking
floating in air.
acrobatics.
You do have that ballet
I
background
do.
with the gymnastics.
My trapeze has been ordered.
True.
Water would be cool. I mean, that's the plan. Get,
When you were in
blow-up
labor with
tub.
the back-breaking labor the first time that you described, had you gotten into a bath?
Yeah.
And was that not helpful?
I was doing literally everything.
Nothing helped
I
you.
was my doula. I said, look, I will do anything. We had a lot of stairs at the house. I was up and down the stairs. I was doing inversions. I was upside down. I was in the bath. I was we're unpacking my breast pump and using that to try and
stimulate more contractions?
Well, I'm on the toilet, I was literally doing.
Sounds like a busy day.
It was busy.
Oh,
yeah,
I have a question.
Eating, trying to eat, if that would, literally anything.
I have so many more questions. Is Vera going to come to the birth?
Well, the plan is for her
it's
to
at
be.
your house.
Yeah, she does still live with us, so
She does,
yeah, she hasn't moved out yet.
Have you
And my mom hopefully will be out from Australia.
Oh, that's nice.
The plan
is
is
there
to
a
have
doula
her.
this time as well, or no doula?
I'm still deciding. I'm still
Not that
deciding.
much time left.
No, I know. I know. I know. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. Nope. I loved having a doula. It's not that I didn't enjoy the experience either. I don't know. I don't know what it is. There's something about it I'm just unsure about.
How did you find out you were pregnant this time? I'm all over the
My
place.
daughter told me.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
She said, Mom, your boobs look way different.
No, she didn't. No. Although we just stopped breastfeeding at the time. Although now she wants my boobs again, so there's a whole other thing. No, we were just playing with our tummies, doing raspberries or something. And she's like, there's a baby in there. I'm like,
Wow.
ha, ha, ha. I'm like, there's a baby in yours. And she's like, no.
She's
I'm like, there's
"No,
a baby
Mom,
in
for real."
Daddy's. No. And she's like, no, Mom, there's a baby in yours. I was like, oh. Because we were not trying, but we weren't
Yeah.
oh, I'm ovulating.
It wasn't on your mind.
It was the time that we were thinking of having another kid for sure. Because Vera's 2.5 now, and that was sort of within that year, right? Was in our mind kind of a good time, but it totally explained why I was a super cranky Emily for the 2 months prior to that, because I was nearly 8 weeks.
Wow.
Which doesn't sound like much, but it's fine.
No,
I mean,
but
I found out
today, most people find out.
No, 5. Well, I found
really
out with
quick.
Vera 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you weren't nauseous and throwing? You were cranky.
I was just really cranky. I was the same with her. I was the first sort of 10 weeks, incredibly. Let's say the first 3 months, just incredibly irritable and cranky and impatient, and it just
It's
lived.
kind of all the opposites of what I know.
But the
Emily I know.
Oh, that's nice.
Truth.
But it just lifted, and it's the same with her. It just lifted literally the next morning, 3 months in, just lifted, and I felt back to normal, and it hasn't come back, that feeling. But she also told me what I was having.
She did?
Yeah, because I just thought, oh, of course I'm going to have another girl. I had in my head that I'd always have a daughter, which I do, but I don't know, I just didn't think I'd have a boy. And so I just automatically was like, oh, there's a little girl in there. She'd be like, oh, little girl. No, Mummy, it's a little boy.
Wow.
For like a couple of weeks, because, you have to wait for, 10 weeks to do that first big panel where they can tell you.
The gender.
Yeah.
Do they, does she ever talk about, like, numbers? Like 5 numbers and a Powerball number? Because she is pretty intuitive.
She is. We're starting up the clairvoyant workshops with Vera.
She can do like her own little, online. All right. I do have a question though. What comfort measures? Because you're gonna plan to labor and give birth at home. What comfort measures do you have in mind for your home birth for labor?
Water is a big one because, you were asking if I labored at all in water, and I did, and that did feel the best for sure, even with back labor. I didn't have a terribly comfortable tub. Mm-hmm. Some of those like really cool, 1915
Oh, like
tubs.
the tub that's built into your place. You didn't have like a birthing
no, I
tub.
didn't have, no, with my first, no, I didn't have.
Because you were planning to go to the center.
Planning to go to the birth center. So no, I would like to ideally fill up the birthing tub like earlier on.
Yeah, sure.
And I also have a pool. Mm-hmm. You don't want to go in after your water's broken, sure. But prior to that,
yeah.
As long as I can tell when it's breaking if you're in water. That's interesting. I don't know if I'm going to be able to tell.
While you're in water, that your water broke?
Yeah, I asked my midwife that, and she said she thinks.
I think you'll know.
Yeah.
Because I see people laboring in water in the birth tub, and they usually know when their water breaks.
Yeah. So
I think you'll know. I've been to a couple of home births where Mama was just swimming around or moving around in water.
Yeah.
In their pool.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the plan.
One of them, water. So beautiful, like at the top of the Hollywood Hills on this totally dark night with a full moon.
Oh.
And she was just laboring out there.
That's pretty.
Incredible vision. Still, image
really
in my mind.
Yeah.
So water. Any other?
Water and just peace. Really,
do you meditate?
there's.
Do you meditate?
I don't know. I guess I kind of do my own form, but not technical meditation. No, I just want to feel. That's why I do like the idea of home right now.
That is your comfy spot.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, and I like the idea of, Vera being there and my mom being there, and it just being, simplifying for me, just for Emily in general, regardless of birth, is always a good thing. So trying to not overthink things and trying to not overplan things too much. I think having massage really helped me through the back labor a lot.
From your doula?
From my doula, yeah, and from my fiance. Just, that was just something that really helped.
That
mentally, probably
for
more
back
than
labor,
physically.
I think that tends to be one of the most helpful tools,
Yeah.
because that sacrum is getting pushed so hard
It's so
back,
tight.
and you feel like it's going to break, and a little counter pressure, a little massage around it can go a long way, unless you're too sensitive to be touched.
Just that, and just being peaceful, and just we have dogs. Take them to the daycare so that it's just. I don't want to hear barking dogs.
Yeah, sometimes they freak out while you're in labor too.
Yeah, or if there's noises
They get
or
anxious.
different people.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe it's just Jewish dogs. I don't know.
maybe. And beagles. No, I just don't want to hear dogs howling.
Aside from the fact that you don't like sponges in America,
What?
is that not true?
That what?
You don't like our sponges?
I don't like your sponges.
Like in the kitchen, our little scouring, scrubby things?
I don't dislike them.
You don't?
No, they're not quite as abrasive as the Aussie
See,
ones.
I knew you were critical.
Is that the common criticism
Yeah.
of the American sponges?
Yeah, the Aussie sponges are better at getting grime off the pots.
Maybe that's why every time my mum comes out, she always brings me.
She brings
me sponges.
Yeah.
She's probably like, "Oh God, I can't. I'm not going to clean up the kitchen without my
When
sponges."
she comes, is she? Oh, she's coming.
Yeah,
She's not here yet.
No, she's gonna.
Can I order
ideally,
caramello koalas? That's. I forgot she's coming.
I will ask.
I will
her.
come rub your back for a few
Only
minutes if I can
there's-
get
for
some.
how many bags?
Yeah, whatever. Just even a
okay.
handful. It's just the first bite. Well, we've done it.
Oh,
Anything else that I didn't ask that you're like, you should ask this?
I don't know. I mean, there's so many things. You asked really good questions.
I feel lucky. I get to chat with you all the time, and I
well, that's the thing, though. It's funny because we do talk a lot.
Yeah.
Not on this. So it's like, what did we talk about that was not on this?
Yeah. No,
I can't remember.
It's just, I love chatting with you. I love your perspective. I think you have this great energy and it's inspiring. Like, you're just naturally come off very positive, and you're just like, I think a lot of people, what I see after the birth that you had the first time when you described it as this incredible back-breaking labor pain that was intolerable. And you're like, yep, I'm going to try it again. I like that you get up and you're like, I feel like I missed out on something. I want to give it another try. Different setting, different baby. Let's see how it goes.
And it's interesting, though, because it's given me I mentioned this to you actually last week. Part of me is like, oh, God, do I want a hospital birth again? Because that's what I did. Mm-hmm. And it hadn't even popped into my head until like last week. I'm like, oh, God, maybe I want that because, that's all I've ever experienced. Not that it was, what I quote unquote wanted, but it worked out. And she was healthy and everything was fine. So I don't know. I guess in a good way, that experience has opened me up to being open to whatever will happen, as opposed to having some sort of perfect, pop into the birth center, easy car ride, pop baby out in an hour, and then have a problem a second time. I guess I'm glad in hindsight that I went through a little bit of something that, jogged the plan, so to speak, and turned it on its head in a positive way.
Yeah. And you still have that, right? You still have a birth plan that's comprehensive. Your vision, your plan A, the way you want it to go down now is ideally that you'll go into labor, hop in a tub and have your baby at home.
Have baby at home.
But
and
you
then,
still have plans in case you need to.
Yeah.
For any reason, switch over care to a doctor.
Yeah, and who knows? Something may need to change in the next few weeks because maybe something is like, I don't know. He, because he's a boy, he's head down and he seems to be great. But, I guess you never know. So.
Well, I will say this. Perhaps, because now we're all curious about how it's going to go. Hopefully you'll come back afterwards and share the new story.
Yeah, are you kidding? I would love to.
Amazing.
I would love to with more chocolates and.
Yes. Okay.
Well, they're going to force feed you Vegemite.
Oh man.
You're only allowed to have the caramel koalas if you eat Vegemite.
I like rosy cheeks, so who knows?
See.
Emily, thanks a million for being here. What you mentioned this Instagram thing. How do we find you on there?
You can find me. So it's my name. So Emily.
But you spell it funny.
Okay. So it's EMI. It's not funny. It's French.
You spell it Frenchy.
It's Emily, EMILIE, then DE, and then there's an underscore RAVIN. And I have the little blue tick because there's a lot of people that
there's a lot of fake Emilie de Ravins.
Yeah. It's a lot of. I was just looking at them right now, and they use your face. So it's anyway. The little blue tick helps.
That seems to be wrong. Thanks again. I really appreciate you being here and sharing your story.
Oh, you kidding? Anytime. I loved it.
At home, thanks for listening to the Informed Pregnancy Podcast. If you have a topic you'd like us to discuss or someone from TV you'd like us to badger, send your suggestions to info@informedpregnancy.com and visit us online for lots more pregnancy and parenting media at informedpregnancy.com.